Hello again. Today I'm going to be doing one of the routes from the book Great British Bike Rides. Today's ride takes us around the small county of Rutland, just over 65 miles in total, and graded as difficult by the author, which is the second of 4 grades on his suffering scale. Rutland actually disappeared as a county in the 1970s, but after much protesting, it was eventually reinstated and enjoys county status again today. I started the ride in a little village called Medbourne, purely because it was the nearest point of the route to where I lived anyway. And immediately we're in beautiful rolling countryside. It's great. Morning. Yeah, fantastic. And that isn't actually Rutland Water yet. There are a few lakes dotted around here in Rutland, and that's a beautiful sight coming over the hill. Now this route is graded as difficult in spite of it being only 65 miles compared to the 79 miles of Norfolk, which was rated as moderate, which is the easiest. And that's purely because, factoring in the terrain now, that we just had the hill there which was 10-11%, and I fancy we're going to be peppered with that kind of rolling terrain throughout the route, which means it gets the difficulty rating in spite of it being significantly fewer miles. It's also significantly hotter today than it has been on any of my recent rides. So I've set my Garmin to pop up with little reminders that it just has now, drink. Because you get so engrossed in the ride that sometimes you forget, because as you know, you're supposed to drink before you get thirsty to avoid being dehydrated. It must be my age, I need these little prompts and reminders. Oh wow, look at this, absolutely cracking.
The Welland Viaduct carries the railway across the River Welland between Haringworth and Seaton. At 1,275 yards long and with 82 arches, it is the longest masonry viaduct in the United Kingdom. The first of 20 million bricks was laid in March 1876, and the work was completed in July 1878. If the bricks were laid out side by side, forming a pathway 5'3" wide, it would reach a distance of 200 miles.
Wow, look at that. Very impressive. Horse is taking a shelter. Fantastic. Always the compromise when you go onto the really, really narrow, quiet lanes. No traffic, but the road surface, oh, like that, leaves a very lot to be desired. Very idyllic and quiet, but you're thankful you've come out of the other end without a puncture. With it being so hot and sunny today, and me being so fair-skinned, obviously I've plastered on the sunscreen. The only problem with that is it ends up like a graveyard or a battleground on my arms. Rest in peace. Isn't our country beautiful? Beautiful. Absolutely stunning countryside, it really is lovely. And that last cottage, it was something off a chocolate box or a jigsaw puzzle. Somewhere around here we go, is the cafe I planned to stop at for lunch. Happy days. Really ready for it as well. Oh, gravel, I think I'll walk. Yeah, I'm definitely not riding down this. Hope it's not too long. So, closed cafe. In spite of it being advertised on their Facebook page as being open today. So, not clever, but they have said there's a tap here for me to fill my water bottles because it's a campsite, which is handy. Campsites and cemeteries, both very handy for emergency water bottle. But the good news is there's a pub a little bit closer to Rutland Water, not far away, and I should be able to get lunch there, so fingers crossed. That definitely looks open. Happy days. Well, this pub couldn't have appeared at a better time, just over halfway. It's been a beautiful day and therefore quite tiring, quite warm. So I'm just ready for some lunch, and it's the Horse and Jockey in Manton. Lovely little spot. So yeah, looking forward to a rest and taking on the remainder of the ride. We're now on the cycleway of the southern edge of Rutland Water, and it's interesting that it could easily be seen, this ride, as a loop around Rutland Water, but we've only just reached the lake and we've done 36 miles. So hopefully you've seen already there's a bit more to it than just a loop round the lake. I'm just getting the occasional glimpse of Rutland Water through the trees on the left. We're not really that close to it. Now, the reason for that is simply this is a road bike ride. There is a really nice cycle route around the water which follows it closely, but it is gravelly, and that's why we're not using it on a road bike. I'd quite happily do it another day on a different bike with different tyres. Rebel, rebel, use your dress. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, rebel, how could they know? Hot tramp, I love you so. So a little quote from the book by the author about Rutland Water. Some cycle routes go up things, others go along things, and even more go around things. England is a pretty diverse country, so it's quite easy to find a number of things to go around. Well, part of this route goes around Rutland Water, 3,000 acres in size and 27 miles of shoreline. It remains the largest man-made lake in Western Europe. We just didn't see a great deal of it today. Just a little detour because Sigma Sports Bike Shop's here. I just wanted a little word. That's that little bit of business done, together with a recommendation for some decent coffee and cake, which I think I'll take up before finishing off today's ride. And as recommended by the guys at Sigma Sports, we have some lemon oat bar and a nice cup of coffee. And that'll keep me going for the rest. We've got about 20 miles left. So that's me suitably refreshed with caffeine and my ECF fix. ECF, remember, essential cycling fuel, otherwise known as cake. Now we're just picking our way through the very nice town of Oakham before hitting the countryside again for the last 18 miles. It's not until you stop on days like this that you realise how hot it is, because you've constantly got that breeze, so it can be deceiving. 56 miles nearly, about 9 miles left. This is an interesting overtake. Presumably he's going to let me in here. Yes, he is. I'm glad I'm not a car. Not sure how a car will get past. I go. It's definitely been, since Oakham, what I'd call rolling terrain. So lots of 8 to 12% hills, and then of course you get the downhill fun after that. Having said that, this one is just hit 14%. And just a moment to actually stop and realise how silent it is apart from the birds. Not a breath of wind at the moment, it's absolutely gorgeous. Feel the weight on the right. Yep. Good old British countryside at its best. Of course, a pile of poo straight ahead. Couldn't be without that, could we? It's always a problem when you're in a strange place following a fixed route. Luckily, there was a little path down the side for me to walk. So, no harm done. I hope you've earned that polka dot shirt.
Oh, I'm a bit embarrassed wearing it. Normally in the winter, I see the coat.
And back into Medbourne, where we started. So that was Great British Bike Rides, Rutland and the Lake. We did just over 67 miles and there was over 4,000 feet of climbing. And it sure felt it. It was a hot day and that was actually tougher than I thought it was going to be, but a wonderful ride again, and absolutely shows why Rutland wanted its name back, because it's a beautiful area and it's not just about Rutland Water. The countryside is fantastic. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it and look out for more of these rides from the book Great British Bike Rides on the channel. If you have enjoyed it, please, as usual, give us a thumbs up, and if you subscribe to my channel, that would be really fantastic. It will help the channel grow. And all that remains for me is to say I'm going for a pint in the pub whose car park I borrowed for the day. Go out for one yourself, keep hydrated, keep eating your cake, and I'll see you soon.